welcome to a new podcast, and it is an absolute pleasure. I'm absolutely honoured to be here. We've got a legend of the Scottish brewing scene here. He is the head brewer. He really needs no introduction, but you might not have seen him on camera before, but he's the head brewer for Glasgow, Scotland's finest. Overtone is the one and only Dan Miller. Thanks for inviting us up, Danny.
Thank you very much for coming.
Absolute pleasure. So we're going to link to Overtone links throughout the show. If you've been living under a rock for the past few years, obviously you know where they are, but we are going to link to them as well. And it's buzzing round about here. They've got a cracking team up here, a small team. We met the sales team, we've met the logistics team, met the brewing team, and it's been a really stunning day. But let's crack on, because we've got a few questions I'd like to ask you, Dan, if that's okay. So can you tell the viewers just a wee bit first about how you got into brewing?
I started home brewing when I was working as a seasonal chef, and you know, when you start the season it's kind of slow and you always need plenty of beer for the season, so
so that was
started, hospitality and beer, you know. Something to do,
something to pass the time. Now, I did notice on your bio on the website that you have done a wee bit of brewing, in NYC and beyond. Can you tell us a wee bit about some of the brews you've maybe worked in those areas?
Let's see, I worked at 6 Degrees for a bit when I first came over. I worked at Butternuts Beer and Ale, Central New York, over by Cooperstown. Was there as their production manager for quite a few years. Before that, there was a brew pub in northern New York up on the Great Lakes. Kind of faltered a wee bit, so. And then before that, I was back over, Oxfordshire? Real ale.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you like a wee bit of real ale?
Back at the time I thought it was novelty, you know?
Yeah. Cool. I have to say as well, viewers, if you've not picked up on it as well, it's obviously not a UK accent that you have.
No, I'm from New Hampshire.
New Hampshire, so already it makes sense why these NEPAs are so good, viewers, doesn't it? So I don't know what to ask you first here. I've got a couple of questions and they're kind of tying in, but I was going to ask you how Overtone kind of came about, and where did you meet Brewery? Because I know it's kind of a joint thing, isn't it?
I think it was like when we, what was it? The Beast from the East. That was when I came out and I met Bowie. He had set up some of the brew kit and was looking for a production brewer. I found the ad on SIBA.
Wow. Wow.
So basically we sat in here freezing our butts off, trying to figure out what we were going to do.
Brilliant. So if you're watching there, viewers, or any brewers here, SIBA, get on there. You know, you never know, you could be the next Dan Miller. What was the first beer that you brewed at Overtone? Was it the
Citramo?
That's it. Yeah. And were you happy with it? Do you remember?
It was a progression.
Yeah.
Everything's always going to be a progression at that point.
Yeah.
Because when you're starting with nothing, you got to start somewhere.
100%. But
there was a lot of trials and small home brews and yeast trials and hop trials and all that fun thing, and buckets, you know. So it was quite fun.
Fantastic. Now, I always ask this, when you first started out, did you find it hard to get your beer, into the marketplace, into pubs, into bottle shops?
Well, at first because we didn't exist, and then we didn't have the canning line at start, and then by October we got the canning line, so we were already running for a couple of months, and we were trying to do something that nobody had really done at the time up here, so the market really wasn't prepared for it.
That's true. I'll have to ask, some of the home brewing days where you're cutting your teeth, do you still brew any of those beers to this day, or maybe even elements of them at all?
No, I don't really home brew anymore.
You don't?
No.
Right, okay.
Since the twins were born, that was the end of my homebrew days. I didn't even have a New England IPA when we started this place. Wow. I had to go home that summer and try it.
Wow.
So it was kind of just learning and drinking, Cloudwater, and they were a big influence there at the beginning.
So you went back home, obviously you picked up the Overtone secret recipe, so can we get the Overtone secret recipe?
There's no secret recipe.
Oh, come on. Seriously though, over the years it has been noticeable that many of the beers and the brews have kind of evolved. Sometimes you start with a specifically named one and you do evolve them. And I have noticed that sometimes that will normally always improves the flavour.
Hopefully.
So
most of the time.
Yeah. How do you manage to do that?
Well, we constantly have to push ourselves to try to make something better or more current, because the beers we started out making aren't necessarily as well received now as they were then. Like one of them we just did, Comet Glow, probably nobody would really like that because it's bitter. It tastes of hops, and it's like West Coast bitter, but with strata in it, and it probably wouldn't go over very well.
So then that would evolve into maybe something else over the year. So you really think just constantly...
Either that or it dies. Then you just have to move on. Azaka is one that kind of went downhill a bit, but then came back with a vengeance this past brew. I was having yeast consistency issues, but the last one was really good. That's
a bad thing to have, isn't it, as a brewer?
It just didn't do the part.
Yeah.
Wasn't the right amount of haze and flavour to it.
So you're constantly evolving and constantly actually looking for ways to improve the...
Yeah, my guys, we are always making improvements, and we have to. This is the only way that we'll make ourselves better. And then keep up with the current climate as well for the industry.
So it's actually a life lesson there as well.
This one's quite crazy, okay?
Yeah, okay.
So you're going to have...
Is this going to be a gum face, a lip smacker, this one?
It's definitely a surprise.
I don't know, do you come up with the recipes, or is it a kind of joint thing?
I do most of the recipes.
Yeah.
But it's kind of just because that's just what I've done from the beginning.
Yeah. Now we have, I might show some footage on the video, you might have already seen it, but I have to just ask, because I think we've got a wee bit of time to ask you this, but you took us a wee walkthrough of the tank setup today. Dan, can you just explain the number of tanks that you have in the premises, if that's okay?
We've got 820s, 540s, and one package tank.
Wow. And most of them
We're looking at possibly getting another 3 or 4 tanks.
Wow. Oh wow.
Packaging this tomorrow.
Look at how thick that is. Really excited for this one? Oh!
See if you can guess what's in it.
Coconut. Oh, there's something very tropical in there as well. Pineapple.
Nope.
Guava.
Yep.
So guava, coconut. Oh, there is something almost like fizzy in that as well. That is it. That is amazing.
Mango, guava, papaya.
Papaya. Wow. That is stunning.
I'm trying to hit a certain level, you know?
That is stunning. Have you got a... I know it's just called sour there. But that is...
Yeah, they package it tomorrow.
Oh my goodness, that is fantastic.
I'm going to stay at home with the kids.
Wow, what I love as well is just opposite where the camera is here as well, you've got this huge cold store as well, which I think is really essential for a lot of your styles, to keep it fresh as possible. And you were saying as well, most of the tanks you like to keep them as slow as possible and keep them on the go. Yeah.
Good turnover.
Citra, I am home.
Yeah. So we've done Eldorado, Galaxy, Motueka, Nelson.
Yeah.
So we gotta do Citra.
Yeah. Fantastic.
It's definitely what I've been looking forward to.
One of the most classic hops, isn't it, Citra?
I'm just ripping off of Trillium.
Yeah.
Because at first it was cutting teeth or
Yeah. We've actually spoke about that because the cutting teeth was obviously a homage, wasn't it?
But it's also like learning cutting teeth.
Yeah. If Dom is watching this, you'll get brownie points because Dom did insinuate that when he was reviewing it. This is absolutely stunning looking, Dan.
That probably is going to be the best cutting teeth one.
My goodness me. The mouthfeel on that is just wow.
And it's funny, everybody's always like the honey makes it sweet, but the honey ferments out.
Oh man, that explodes in your mouth. Oh, thank you so much. brilliant. The cannon line as well of yours is phenomenal. I just want to move on now to the branding of Overtone. Now, the name Overtone, is it a musical reference?
Well, all of us are fans of music. I mean, it is quite big in all of our lives, although we don't always appreciate each other's music as well. But it was really hard coming up with a name at the beginning. Driving around, like bouncing names off of each other constantly, but it seemed it was like either undercurrents or overtone.
Yeah, it's a fantastic name. Beers and music, I mean, would you say they do go hand in hand?
Pretty much, yeah.
It does.
Making it does.
It doesn't. That certainly does. Brings on nicely as well. I really like the fact that in some of your brews recently, you've also name-checked some bands in the community, and also that are not in the community. You know, guys like the Tallest Man on Earth. I know you had a brew named after him. You had Tomorrow Syndicate, and you also had Fracture. Fracture was an absolute stunner.
Yeah, they came out to brew. That was cool.
Now, I'll have to ask you this now. It's a wee bit of a tongue-in-cheek moment here, Dan.
Is this the names bit?
It is indeed. Okay. So, one thing that everybody loves, and I would actually say that people love it down in England as much and worldwide as what they do in Scotland, but it's the vernacular that you use. I'm talking about words like oofed and Ouija and Whitman.
Yeah.
So I think it would be remiss of me while I had this opportunity of me not to give you a few suggestions, okay?
Alright.
So if you're doing a kind of barrel-aged vanilla stout, you could have Podcask. You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could have a low ABV sessionable Pilsner. Would you sesh it?
You'd have to.
You'd have to, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But my personal favourite is any Juicy Belter of an Imperial IPA. You're ever struggling with a name, what would you call it? Tannable. Now, surely, in fact, you've got permission, Dan, to use these.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's nice because some of the other bits, shows where we're from.
Yeah.
The Glaswegian bit, but
Blastbuster Yoka. Yeah. Brilliant. It's so good, isn't it? But it's not
a buddy
just...
of mine had us watching that video from like week 1. Hilarious. He lives right up the street.
It's a great thing about the community here, isn't it? And that's one thing we do like to do, whether it be through bands or comedians or the vernacular that's used. Overtone really is a community brand. We're sitting here in the heart of Clydebank. As you were saying, it was maybe an old bus depot. Yep. It's been recycled. There's loads of businesses here. It's an aspiring young community of businesses. Yourself being here, and I think it's phenomenal. I think it's only art that you do use the vernacular and support the community with your brand name. So thanks for that. Right, but you have been working closely with it's like a who's who of the UK brewing scene.
It's been a good year.
So Neon Raptor, Rivington, Northern Monk. I don't want to name check any, and there's far too many to mention. North, yeah, yep. Have you got any exciting? In fact, I know you've got something exciting coming up, but if there is any exciting collaborations you've got coming up that you'd maybe like to talk about with the viewers?
Rivington was here last week, doing a triple IPA version of the beer that we brewed with them last time.
Wow.
Something Cadillac.
Yeah.
I bought a Cadillac.
Yeah.
Trying to come up with a play on that thing.
Fantastic.
But then next week, Cloudwater's going to be here.
Wow.
So that's
special.
That's a bit cool, yeah.
That is special. That is special indeed. So that's class.
Going to use some special fresh New Zealand hops for that.
Brilliant. Can I ask what hop it would be?
It's a special hop blend from Hop Revolution.
Okay, right.
Their signature blend.
Fantastic.
I don't know what to expect.
Fantastic. So you've heard it here first. Cloudwater are coming to visit Overtone, and there's going to be a brew involved. We cannot wait to see what that happens with that.
Well, it had to be an IPA.
Oh, if it's not an IPA, we want it to be an Imperial IPA, yes. Yeah. We want it to be a Juicy Belter. That's what we want it to be.
Yeah.
And you can call it tannable. It's alright, Dan. One thing I'm sure it will be is tannable. The most important question I have to ask for you today.
Vault City's coming to do one as well.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Alright, brilliant.
If Vendy's coming back to hang out
for the day.
day.
Brilliant. Is it like a loan deal? Is it Vendy comes back just for a day or two?
Go out for a couple of drinks.
Yeah. Alright, sorted. Now, there's one question when I've been asked, told people it's come up, Dan, that is very important to people. And I don't want to nail you down anything, but
the tap room.
What's happening with the tap room? Do you think it'll happen?
think currently what we're looking to do is get like a temporary license to occasionally have people come here until we actually get a premise secured. There is one they're looking at currently.
Okay,
So
brilliant.
this should be the year.
Brilliant, brilliant. So obviously it's going to be in the south side of Glasgow, right next to my house.
South side next
Yeah.
to your house. I'd prefer it be next to my house.
So, but that sounds promising, and even if you said you have a temporary license, I mean it's a huge.
Yeah, then
premises
people
they've
can
got.
come get beer, get a pint, you know, whatever, maybe
Can have a
food
chat with you.
truck or something, yeah.
That would be superb. That would be great. If you had to drink one beer for the rest of your life and it's not one of your own, what would it be? Now I'll give you 2 beers if you really want to.
Are you worried? You ready? This
Yep.
might be scary. Probably Miller.
Really? Well, Miller
Charlie
Jr.
had a
Draft?
good answer, Corona, because then you could put lime in it, you know, and you, like if you're on an island, it would be ideal. But I like Miller High Life.
Miller High Life. I'm actually flabbergasted.
I will drink Miller, yes.
And it's not.
MTV.
It's a Pilsner. Yeah. Would you say that?
Because sometimes you gotta reset your
The palate, yeah. I'd actually agree with that in terms of, I'm so surprised in Miller. I'm actually, I don't
If
know.
I'm gonna buy a lager, that's probably what I'll buy.
Okay. And would you say outside of Overtone and outside other, you're taking a piss?
No,
Taking a piss?
no, no.
Yeah.
No, just ask my wife.
Right.
I think it's probably on my Insta as well.
Do you know what I love? Well, I'll tell you something. That, actually, I think that's something for it. I'm not going to lie, that is, why wouldn't you?
No, some of the big guys in the States swear by it.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I think if you're a Glaswegian viewer of the show and you've
You have to
said-
say tenants.
you're going to say tenants, and if you're a Glaswegian of the
Well,
show,
if I was at the pub and they had tenants, I would drink that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I have to say that's probably the best answer that any of the brewers have ever given us to that. So excellent. Now,
I can't drink 8% IPAs all the time.
exactly.
I'll get fat. I'll get moves.
So last but not least, right, and we have had an exclusive taste today. Is there anything in the tanks that you're really, really excited about?
Probably the Citron home.
Yeah. And that's
And all Simcoe
yeah.
for next week. Quite honestly, I'm usually quite happy with everything that's coming through.
Can I just mention one that we did try today, the Paradise Crush.
Oh, yeah.
That is
Pushing the envelope a little bit
pushing
on
the
that
envelope,
one.
and that is like an absolute fruit-tastic. That is it's a stunning beer.
Yeah, I actually have to import liquid coconut from the States to make that. It's like a brewer's supply thing.
Wow. So I think that's us, Danny.
Cool.
That was quite, that was a lot quicker. Before I finish up, I might actually link to, obviously the Overtone links, etc. For fans' permission, I might link to his Instagram. And all the other guys in here, the whole
Yeah,
team.
they all have like kind of a different perspective on what they do in Overtone in general.
I have to say, just a very big thank you for taking so much of your time today. I know you've got your 3 beers coming out this week, so is there anything you would like to say to the viewers, or anything at all that you'd like to kind of say before we close off?
Refrigerate your cans.
Refrigerate your cans and drink them.
Don't drink them fresh. Don't put it in the cupboard.
Don't drink them fresh. So,